Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. For those of you who are looking to secure your cryptocurrency and or have it on a secure hardware device, Ledger is currently having a 40% off sale, I believe for the entirety of this week. While I am not an employee of Ledger, I am an affiliate, and I do have an affiliate link in the description below for those of you who were wondering. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. The last 12 hours have been something else in the cryptocurrency space. This one says market wrap Bitcoin pushes past 19,400 US dollars. We are all certain at this point that a $20,000 Bitcoin is going to happen. What happened was that Bitcoin started shooting up very rapidly, hit 19,400 US dollars, and then everything kind of went nuts. So what ended up happening is that our prices went up, altcoins went up, and then the stock market in the United States, the Dow Jones, went above, I believe, 30,000 points. Yeah, 30,000 for the first time ever. Everyone completely lost their minds, and everyone was like, this is the wow. Whatever the actual case might be, markets across the world started shooting up. People have been trying to decide what the exact reasoning for the stock market going up was and why the cryptocurrency, yada, yada, yada. As one might have expected, here's where we get into the dark and gloomy, but it's not really dark and gloomy at all. It says Bitcoin retreats from highs, altcoins correct lower. The news, one of the major newses today had to do with the fact that the prices of our market started to fall down. Now, when you read around and you look around for exactly what took place, it made it seem as if we had fallen back down to 12,000, 13,000 or something like that. Bitcoin lost $500 in value and then moved back up around 200 or 300 where we currently are right now. So we're over 19,000. But the news would have made you believe that something catastrophic had taken place. Altcoins are also down, but to be fair, they're also up by around anywhere from 100 to 150% over the last 2 weeks. And when you look at the chart right now, they're currently down, at least at the time of me making this video, by around 2 to 4%. Right. Like I said, it was doomy and gloomy, but not as gloomy and doomy as they would like you to actually believe. This one says Stellar Lumens doubles in price following upgrade. The price of Lumens shot up by 60% in the past 24 hours and crossed the 20-cent mark for the first time since September 2018. The Stellar price action followed an announcement by the project's developers that a new version of the Stellar Public Network Protocol had been implemented by validators. The Protocol 15 upgrade was voted into effect at 4 a.m., 23rd November, and introduced two new features that aim to reduce the level of complexity presented to the users of the Stellar-based network apps and services. So that explains why the price of Lumen shot up yesterday. We had news before in the long ago that apparently the people from Stellar had partnered with IBM, and the speculation was that they were going to be using Lumens. And I assume that that's what the actual news was, and that's why Lumen's price had shot up. It was just because of an upgrade, which I guess is a little weird because a lot of other coins also have upgrades, but it doesn't really cause their prices to shoot up that far. Unless this upgrade actually had to do with the fact, it says somewhere around here, makes it less complex to use their apps and services. One of the things that every single blockchain wants is to be used. And a lot of blockchains aren't used. And I guess the upgrade has to do with trying to make it more enticing for people to build things on top of their platform, because we never get news that anyone's ever building anything on top of Lumen, so I assume that's what it is. Anyway, yeah, 60% is very bull run, if I can say that, because not many coins before, especially in 2018, 2019, you could have had 9 upgrades in a year and your price would have risen by 4%. So an upgrade by 60% is absolutely insane. What does this one say? Analysts eye a new top of $74,000 as Bitcoin comes within 3% of its all-time high. Depending on where you look, people think it's going to happen this week or it's going to happen next week. We are at the same exact news level where we kept on hearing that we had to pass by 14,000 to shoot upward. We passed 14 and shot upward. The news now is that we're going to aim for $20,000 to $22,000 to not only pass by our all-time high, but to have it very clear that we have reached a new peak in price for Bitcoin. A lot of people, the price predictions that have been coming out the last couple of weeks have been fascinating, to say the least. I'm not upset with any of them, but they do range quite in number, size, and variation in general. I think the lowest that we've seen was from Novogratz, who I believe said 68,000. This one says 74, and then you get into the 100K for Plan B plus, etc., etc. And I think the longest time frame that I've seen was someone said it would take 3 years for Bitcoin to reach 175,000. That was the longest time frame, as opposed to, the Citibank next December hitting 300,000 US dollars. What is this one? It says, no debate that Bitcoin will increase 20x. This was said by a gold industry insider. Gold Bullion International co-founder Dan Tapirio believes that it's only a matter of time before Bitcoin's price surges into the six-figure threshold. It's all but a given at this point. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Is it going to happen by the end of this year? Not too likely. Is it going to happen sometime by spring? If this momentum continues on and we keep getting all these hedge fund managers who are like, hey, I got a lot of money, I'm going to be throwing it into Bitcoin continuously over and over, then I definitely believe that we are probably going to get there before it gets really hot outside in the summer. Speaking to Anthony Pompliano on the Pomp podcast, Tapirio asserted that in terms of price appreciation, Bitcoin is king, even though he believes investors should own both gold and Bitcoin. I have my own ideas on that. If you've seen my other videos, you know what my ideas are. He says in the next 5 years, I can see gold at $4,000, so that's double. But if gold is at 4,000 US dollars, Bitcoin is probably somewhere between 300,000 and 500,000 US dollars. So that's a 30x. That's one of the, listen, he said it, so I'll say it now as well. That's one of the reasons why I don't believe that gold will ever hit $1 an ounce. I mean, listen, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But if you can openly say that you believe in 5 years gold is going to double in price, well, whoop-de-freaking-do. At the same time, Bitcoin does a 20 to 30x. Why would I have my money in gold? Why would I do that? What's the point of me having it there? He said, he went on to add, I don't really think that anyone in the gold world, they are not going to debate that. This is, I think, the third person in the last 6 days, give or take, who's come forward to say something not negative about gold, but something along the lines of Bitcoin taking gold's market share. When we hit a $100,000 Bitcoin, people are going to start to sell off their gold and push it into Bitcoin because they're going to realize that they made, I don't want to say a costly mistake, but it's a costly mistake because it costs them money. Even if Bitcoin does a current 2x right now, there's little probability in the world that gold is going to have a 2x by next spring. Anyway, that's rich person talking about how great and expensive Bitcoin is going to become news because it happens every single day. You cannot get around it. Why would I do that? Why would I put my money anywhere else? So this is also the idea for those of you who don't know. I love how every video we have like a little history lesson when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. The idea is that eventually Bitcoin will become so big and so scarce that all the money that didn't go into Bitcoin in the first 10, 11, 12, 13 years of its existence will start to flow into it. Everyone will realize, oh crap, I could have made tons of money if I had just put my money into Bitcoin. And it'll start to absorb basically everything. And then we get to the point where other assets, including real estate, including gold, including et cetera, this is the idea that they will eventually start falling in price to a more reasonable level because Bitcoin will have started to absorb all of their value. And as Bitcoin continues to absorb their value, Bitcoin's price becomes more stable. We get the mega, ultra, super high Bitcoin price. And then this is the other part, that's the huge question mark that people say is going to happen within the next 10 years, that we end up living in a deflationary world because of what Bitcoin is and what Bitcoin does and the creation of Bitcoin. Anyway, so yeah, it seems across the board, I know it's not just me, that we keep hearing about this every single day, and they all have come to the exact same conclusion that not only is Bitcoin going to rise dramatically in price, but that Bitcoin is the new contender against gold. And you have to wonder if in the next 5 years, by the year 2025, 2026, Bitcoin is sitting around $300,000 to $500,000 per coin. Where's Bitcoin going to be by the year 2030? Where's Bitcoin going to be by the year 2040? How much higher is Bitcoin going to go up? Think about that. People, it's not that we focus heavily on, because listen, I'm heavily focused on a $500,000 Bitcoin, but the time frame that we keep getting is anywhere from a 4 to 5 year period. You have to assume, life goes on after that 5 year period. In 15 years from now, how high is Bitcoin going to be? Anyway, enough of the hints. Let's move on. For those of you who didn't see yesterday, it says the Ethereum 2.0 deposit threshold has been met. Proof of stake beacon chain starts in 7 days. We are finally here. I am very excited. Someone mentioned, I saw a couple of people, don't worry, I read the comments. A couple of people were a little annoyed that I seemed so happy about this and didn't really seem as happy for when Cardano gets an upgrade. That's because I believe, personally, me, myself, that Ethereum is actually going to be used and Cardano is not. I own Cardano, and I told you before, I expect Cardano to reach anywhere from $1, $3 to maybe a $10 threshold. But Cardano does not have a Cardano Enterprise Alliance the same exact way that 500 company plus and banks and institutions and governments around the world have said that they are going to be using Ethereum. If we get news at any point that we are going to have about 4 different governments who are going to be using Ethereum, and the Brazilian government is going to be writing their laws on top of Ethereum, and the Russian government has a personal meeting with Charles Hoskinson like he did with Vitalik Buterin, well then, I'll become a lot more bullish on Cardano. Don't make the mistake that just because I don't believe in a coin, that doesn't mean that I don't think the price will rise. All these coins are going to rise, whether they are garbage or not. I have personally put a bet on Cardano because I believe it's going to X more than other coins are going to X. Same exact way with XRP. I think XRP is going to do just fine. In 10 years, maybe not so much, but for our portfolios over the next 2 to 3 years, me personally, I believe it is going to be A-okay. So the news now is that yesterday, or rather the news from the beginning was that we needed, it was 520 something thousand. There we go. Oh, yeah, look at me remembering these numbers. 524,288 Ether needed to be deposited into the contract before it could finally go. There are now 694,000. So we are well above the threshold. I assume that has to do with my idea. That they were probably afraid that if they're really close to the threshold and we get to the actual date and people take their money out of the contract, well then, things kind of tumble back down. So I assume they're very safe with their numbers. And even furthermore, I told you this was all going to happen. I do not believe that we know who put their money into these contracts, but I can assume it was probably some developers who were like, just throw the money into the contract to get the gosh darn thing started. Anyway, yeah, so as it stands right now, December 1st, that's the day we are looking for. It's weird that we're almost in December. When I said it out loud, I was like, that's like 9 months away. It's almost the end of the year. Like, what? This entire year has been absolutely redonkulous. So as it stands now, Ethereum 2.0 looks like it's going to be launching in less than a week. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen price-wise as more Ether gets locked up. And people were asking in the comment section as well, where to deposit their Ether, how to start staking. No one knows exactly at this point. We know that you will be able to do it on your computer. You'll be able to do it in different mining pools if you have less than the 32 Ether. But usually what happens is, as we get more concrete towards the actual release date of something, cryptocurrency exchanges and cryptocurrency wallets tend to start sending you emails and things like that saying, hey, we are offering Ether staking. Hey, we are offering Cardano staking. This is usually how it happens. We just have to get closer to the actual date. Things have to be solidified a little bit more, but you'd better believe I'm going to have that news as well for everyone out there. Anyway, without further ado, that's all the Ethereum news. And let's move on. Next up, SBI VC Trade has announced the commencement of its cryptocurrency lending service that is set to start yesterday. The company, popularly called the Japanese financial giant, no one calls it that, continues to make new developments, consequently gaining massive recognition in the crypto industry. The new service added the company's services dubbed VC Trade Lending, will allow customers to lend their crypto assets to the company to receive usage fees on the crypto loan granted. One of the main reasons why I am particularly bullish on the cryptocurrency space is that a lot of companies are getting into the lending practice, which I think is going to be a good and a bad, because it is going to... The lending industry in general, especially when it comes to like payday loans and stuff like that, is absolutely massive. And what's happening is that we're going to further enter a world where people are in debt. I implore you, if you are able to not get into debt in any sort of way, especially if the market goes up and you can wipe away your debt, please do so. You do not want to have a chain on you for the rest of your life. So what's going to happen is that a lot of cryptocurrency passive income places are going to start to pop up. Either they are going to be lending services, such as the one that we see on the screen, or they're going to be some type of a staking service. And this is going to be absolutely wonderful for you as you are an early adopter, because as the value of your cryptocurrency, and particularly in many cases Bitcoin, continues to rise, the passive income that you'll be able to make from Bitcoin simply by holding it is going to be very great. Usually, and whatever. I'm not going to get into the exact numbers, but just understand that this is where the industry is going. A lot of people are looking for other use cases for cryptocurrencies, and lending is one of them, and staking is one of them, and holding it into contracts is also going to be another thing. So just keep that in mind. So SBI, for those of you who don't know, is one of the largest banks in Japan. I'm not sure if it is the largest bank. I've said it is the largest bank before, and people got upset with me. They're like, no, it's actually Makamaka Bank. And I'm like, I don't know what that bank is. So as we've heard before, SBI is quite huge. They have many different subsidiaries, many different other things that they've grabbed hold of. And apparently, the news that we got 2018, 2019 was that they had partnered with a number of banks within Japan in this kind of Ripple coalition kind of thing. So this is where SBI has become very popular within the cryptocurrency space. As it stands right now, they have only Bitcoin trading. Where are the other words? There we go. And apparently, eventually, they're going to add XRP, Ether, and the likes to their platform as well. So I assume we'll hear some news about that in the coming future. But cool. Sure. Why not? Very popular. Not this news in particular, but the idea of lending platforms is going to completely skyrocket. When we live in a world in 5 years, please, we have to have a little digital powwow just discussing how ridiculous the world has become, because I know the world's going to continue getting interesting, but the amount of money that we're able to make passively from having purchased cryptocurrencies now or even before in the past, it is going to blow people's minds. The idea of, think of not having to work in 3 years because you bought cryptocurrencies today or yesterday or the day before. It's a nice feeling. Anyway, let's move on. This follows up with the news that we had a day or two ago or something like that. Grayscale continues to amass more and more Bitcoin as the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust clocks over $10 billion in assets under management. In the latest update, Grayscale notified that the total assets under management have also moved past $12 billion, meaning the GBTC contributes a whopping 83% of its total value. Latest value comes as Bitcoin has crossed by 19,000 US dollars. I think the news that we had before was that Grayscale had, first of all, here it is right here. The thing that I was referencing, I believe a day or two ago, is that Grayscale had accumulated 10,500 extra Bitcoin. I can't find the other one, but I saw it somewhere, I don't remember where, that apparently Grayscale now has, I think, 523,000 Bitcoin, which is already 23,000 more than they had over the weekend when we were talking about that they had just crossed by the 500,000 Bitcoin. It's nuts. This is such a huge amount of money, and I know I say it often, but I would really love to be a fly on the wall to just kind of like sit there. Oop, hit the microphone. Kind of sit there and see exactly who's buying all this stuff? Where's this money coming from that's going into this trust? But either way, it helps the market. It makes Bitcoin more scarce. It helps our wallets. Wink, wink. Why didn't I wink there? And anyway, what is this one? Same exact thing? No, it's tying something directly into it as well. And this will probably only really make me happy and not many other people. Since October, digital currency market has been gaining a sizable amount of growth as cryptocurrencies rallied in price, led by Bitcoin, yada, yada, yada. Additionally, Bitcoin retirement accounts are looking profitable following the surges in the underlying asset, according to the Bitcoin IRA, a digital currency retirement investment portfolio or platform. Same exact thing. As per the Bitcoin IRA on Tuesday, several accounts held with them have posted a significant increase since the rally kicked off. People who registered a Bitcoin retirement account last year are currently up by more than 158%. My gosh. The development is certainly not unusual as the cryptocurrency itself has grown by more than 150% since this year and over 5,000% in the last 5 years. Nothing has beat Bitcoin. For those of you who don't know, who may be relatively new to the channel, I believe Bitcoin is up by over 9 million% since it first came out. There's nothing that can contend with Bitcoin when it comes to actually making money. I don't have to read much further. I love the idea of, first of all, if you haven't seen the other channel, please go do so. I love the idea of people saving money, having money, emergency funds, and also just planning for retirement. I think that this is not certain, but I will say I think that if the cryptocurrency market does continue to rally, a lot of you out there should be making very sizable gains, and we will have a very adult discussion as to where your money should potentially be allocated and or saved and or placed in a way for you to be able to not ever have to work again. That's the goal of this channel. However, the other side of it is I know a couple of people who do actually like to work. It's just a thing. I can't understand it, but it's a thing that people do. So retirement accounts are a very big thing. And I saw someone asking me, I'm not sure if it was this channel or the other channel, if they should get into a Bitcoin retirement account that has a fragment of Bitcoin for its portfolio holdings. I'm going to tell you right now, and this is just how I feel. This is what usually makes the most sense in my head. It does not seem to make a lot of sense to be in a retirement. If your main goal is to enter a retirement account that has a fraction of Bitcoin as part of the portfolio, doesn't it just make more sense to buy Bitcoin yourself so that you still make money from the actual asset? If you believe that Bitcoin is going to go up a lot higher, why not directly invest in Bitcoin? If you are putting $200 a month into a retirement account and you are getting a 10% allocation of that into Bitcoin, $20, wouldn't it just make more sense to put the $20 directly into Bitcoin? This is kind of what I'm saying anyway. I'm excited to hear I'm excited to hear that more retirement accounts are going to be popping up that are going to be buying Bitcoin, because it means that not only is the price of Bitcoin going to go up higher as they're also holding and securing more Bitcoin, it means that they have done their research and are assuming and have come to the conclusion that Bitcoin over the next 20, 30, 40 years for this retirement account is going to continue rising higher in price. So, long term, it's all looking relatively good as far as we can see right now. Let's move on. Wait, actually, hold on. This is the actual press release. It says Bitcoin IRA accounts are soaring as Bitcoin passes 18,000 US dollars. Logical. One can only assume that that's what makes sense. For why is this in the news? The Planning and Finance Committee of South Korea's National Assembly reportedly suggested delaying the commencement of the cryptocurrency income tax rule to January 2022. South Korea originally planned to implement the mentioned rule by October of next year. According to a report published by the South Korean media, the Dong-ilbo, the assembly is pushing to delay the rule as crypto exchanges operating in the country require more time to build an effective taxation infrastructure. The Ministry of Economy and Finance introduced amendments in tax rules earlier this year to change South Korea's residents to charge South Korean residents a 20% income tax on cryptocurrency gains worth more than 2,000 US dollars. So, very popular news. I do not read Korean, but I'm going to assumption that this is what that article says right here. Super popular news, and so is the actual next one. I think I'll say it quickly and then we'll move on. I feel like one of the things that should be taxed is a tax on things you buy that you don't necessarily need. I've mentioned this before. There are a lot of countries who are like tax havens that tax you on your sins. They tax you on the things you buy and the things you play and the things you cars you, etc., etc. But the taxation of actual money that you're making is always a little bit weird to me. Just me personally, just kind of how I feel. And 20%, while not as steep as other places, is not going to cause people to rush into South Korea to be able to do their cryptocurrency doings, especially when, once again, there are multiple countries on the planet who have 0% tax rate when it comes to crypto. Portugal, Germany, Puerto Rico, and I think 2 other places. Anyway, yeah, super popular news. I guess maybe it's the delaying of the tax rule, but that doesn't stop you from actually having to pay taxes on the money that you would have made. It just has to be reported in a different way. So, and also 2,000 is nothing. Like 2,000, people are going to be making a lot more than 2,000 over the next couple of months. So 20%. And let's move on. And to finish things off, in the most popular news story of the day, this was more popular than the cryptocurrency price movements. Crypto exchange Coinbase Pro has announced today that customers would not be able to use margin trading on the platform beginning on Wednesday. According to the Coinbase blog, Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewal said that no new margin trades would be allowed starting on the 25th of November at 2 PST. The exchange stated that it would take the product offline in December once all existing margin positions have expired. They said, "We believe clear, common sense regulations for margin lending products are needed to protect and provide peace of mind to U.S. customers. We look forward to working closely with regulators to achieve this goal." Grewal said the move was in response to new guidance from the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, in March. The commission clarified its position on the actual delivery of assets to include crypto bought under leverage trading or other methods. The CFTC's guidance stated that there would be a 28-day deadline for physical delivery, allowing buyers to use any purchased digital assets after that period. So I assume what the issue is that Coinbase was probably being the deliverer of the actual stuff from the margin trading. We heard last year, not even this year, that the CFTC and the SEC had an issue with how, especially when it came to futures for Bitcoin, how they were being delivered, and usually had to have a third-party custody solution who took the coins, held them, moved them over, then the third person ended up getting them. I find it fascinating that we are in the future, but we still remain in the past, especially when it comes to regulations and how things are going, and I think it's very diplomatic of them how they said that. This is kind of a hurry the F up, this entire sentence, basically going to the CFTC. So the news is that Coinbase had to stop their margin trading because of the CFTC. How many of you were margin trading? I see 3 hands. So it's not going to affect many people except for like really heavy-handed and or institutional investors, which I'm pretty sure was a huge portion of Coinbase Pro's money that they were getting. But to be the main news story, this was everywhere. This was I don't understand. And also a little sprinkle on top to finish things off. It says Binance gives 14 days to users in the United States to withdraw funds. For those of you who are unaware, the US does not like Binance, but they like Binance US. So if you have ever, the news that we got 2 weeks ago was that if you have ever accessed Binance from a US IP address, that Binance may halt activity on your account and or block you from going to it because it appears as if you were in or are in or have been inside of the United States. So transfer your money accordingly. 14 days. Don't let it go to waste. Do it right now. If you're afraid or simply unsure, transfer it to a ledger. Transfer it to another cryptocurrency exchange. Wait for 15 days. See if you can access your account. Bada bing, bada boom. It's all good for you. But as it stands right now, regulators around the world are not too keen on the cryptocurrency space. And they're actively, desperately trying to find ways to be able to control it in some sort of way. This is why we keep getting news about the CFTC and the SEC. But the news is always dwindling down because they're trying to figure out something within the cryptocurrency space that they can grasp onto. And there's very few things, as no one's really doing ICOs. STOs are no longer a thing. The DeFi space, it's almost not, the word isn't impossible, but it's very difficult to be able to point a finger and say, hey, you did this, you did something wrong to the SEC. Same exact things when it comes to the CFTC. They run around commodities. Not many commodities within the cryptocurrency space, except that we know of Bitcoin and almost said finance. Ethereum, wow. And you can't really go into the Bitcoin office and tell Bitcoin to stop doing what it's doing. So that'll do it. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally from Gunbite University. Conan, don't skip leg day. I read that yesterday and I laughed for a good 3 minutes. Good job picking out that name. Conan, don't skip leg day. Snacky Chan, Tolik Banan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohammed Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Damien, Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxus, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Coscop's Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Arf Medic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Ramacho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who's a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. And thank you to everybody for just being here. Always appreciate having all of you around. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently at $19,281 US. There's that dip right there that everyone was panicking about. We are exactly where we were yesterday. Oh my gosh, surprise, surprise, surprise. I think we're off by $130. I still think I think that the market is desperately trying to hit 20,000. It could be a whole bunch of factors as to why we have not done it, but let's be clear. We are up by $9,000 in like 6 weeks. It's fine. It's fine if we don't go above 20K. XRP is currently up by 6.6%. All coins had that same exact dip right around here. Looks like they're all trying to move back up. Ethereum is currently above $600 US. As I assume the news, is going to happen, is going to affect the price of Ether as well. This is probably exactly, first of all, Ether gained $200 in the last week or two as well. I have a feeling behind the scenes, somebody was like, they know that Ethereum 2.0 is going to happen, so they decided to buy a lot more Ether. Cardano's up by 4%. Lumens is still up by 42%, on an upgrade. I don't, sure, why not? Wrapped Bitcoin is now the 16th largest coin. Insanity. Anything else crazy? Nem is up by 20%. Neo's up by 5. Dash is up by 6. VeChain Thor is up by 12. Light Shrug. Many of the other DeFi coins are down. Omise goes up by 9%. Rounding up. I'm going to assume this has to do with the Ethereum 2.0 thing because they're closely linked. Theta is up. Algorand is up by 12%. And I bet a lot of you were like, Algo what? Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day. What's today? I never know. Wednesday. Wow, it's already Wednesday. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. I'm excited to see what happens for the rest of this week. I really am. I think collectively we need to all just hit 20,000, breathe a sigh of relief, and then kind of go from there. But the market is doing extremely well, so Hope you all enjoyed. Have a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. There we go. Thank you all once again I always forget. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See